four little girls, he says, coming into the factory. And he says, we are out taking their names for cycling, more than two abreast. And he says into them, someone says, and then you have the cycling club. And they take up the whole width of the road. And they get a bloody girl to escort. He said, there's no law in this country.
And he was a girl.
He was a girl.
Well,
Girl
that
gets
was
a
so
fact.
common because, you know, the cars were so very few.
No,
That would there be there'd be a line of it, and line was, and I would never forget the time there was a line, it was along, and was there a car coming in the distance or something. And anyway, you know, there was a car coming, and we got a little bit excited. So didn't one handlebar stick in the other, and we was flopped, you know, one flopped the other. And I never forget that because, you know, didn't the handlebar come on my hip up here well, and I was really hurt, but you couldn't change, because only when I got down the road I looked. I was as black as a pot.
And you couldn't ask anyone to kiss it better.
No, I wasn't hurt, of course, you know, but when I got down the road and he looked, I felt it. But, you know, you had to keep your face. And for the way up here, you wouldn't. But it's down there, well, it was a different story. So that, you know, the different little bits and pieces, so that you would never forget.
But there was good. Like we cycled everywhere because, as you said, there was no transport. And main thing was when you went visiting or you went to a dance or to the movies, and you had your bike, you had the pump on the bike and the lamp. But you never ever forgot to take the pump off and the lamp and take it with you wherever you were going, because when you come back,
It
was
would
going
have
on.
been there. But I remember the detective, Kennedy, quizzing me up about how many was at the dance in the Gaiety, and who else was at it, and who else was at it. Where some fella's pump was whipped. And he was trying to track down who would whip the pump. And really he asked me everyone that I could think, and that's how we did it. Who else was at it, and who else was at it? And he had got the whole bloody lot that was at the dance. And he figured it out then, who was the most likely character that nicked the pump. But I do remember that so well.
Well, I remember one time like that now I got the bike and I was in Clancy's, you know, at the bottom of the Minister's Hill.
Yeah.
And of course, hopped on the bike and out the gate, you know, I didn't look right or left, and the next thing, out overnight. Bertie Koenig coming down on his bike.
Oh!
And he went out over the handlebars. Of course, you got up and ran. You didn't. There was no running home.
We cycled off to the dances, and there were no men, no ladies wore trousers in those days. It was all dresses and skirts, and they were blowing away in the wind. And all the bicycles would be all piled outside on top of one another at the dance hall.
And cases they'd be missing, you
And come out then in the dark and search for the bicycles and cycle 3 miles home, and
There was two.
cycling to school was the same. And wet and windy days, you always
Two girls now
cycled.
who shall be nameless, and they worked in the draper shop in town, and they cycled to work. And as a rule, the wind came from the west, as it still does. And Vegan, I can't say it in Gaelic now, but anyway, they would come in, and surely to God the breeze was blowing, and they just kept people with their chin. And they never gave a Highland Dam they didn't hear. They were cycling and that was it.
they had to cycle in the day.
Surely I'm telling you, you got a leg display every morning.